journaling time.
Oh, yeah. What's up,
You
party
made it
people?
back.
We're back. I missed that song. This immediately
I was
put
grooving
me
for
in.
sure.
I saw you. I get the little. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Do you see me down there? Because
No,
and my
I
little
didn't know
thing.
you could see me.
Yeah, I can see you. So you're bopping around.
That's funny.
Awesome. Well, give everybody a couple minutes to trickle in. We're on a new email provider, so hopefully people are getting the emails and hopefully people are getting the announcements. But you know what? We can ease back into it. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
Linda.
Yeah, Linda's here. Awesome. Well, good, you know,
Oh, there we
that would
go.
be
Hi,
enough,
everyone.
right? Deidre's here. What's
Hey.
good? Melissa's in the house.
Aw,
Heading to bed
thanks,
early.
Melissa.
Oh, awesome. Well, we appreciate you stopping by.
Hi, Tina. Hello.
Cool. All right. I've got. I stole one of Alex's fancy kombuchas. She's got a. What is it? Postmates habit where she orders from the fancy groceries and she gets all these like really nifty little drinks and I steal them at night.
Sure do.
All right, Mary. Good to see you, Mary.
Hi, Mary. Good to see you guys. I'm so happy we're back. It feels like it's been forever. It's been a whole month, but we are back and we are excited.
Yeah, what's everyone been up to? Let us know.
I know. What's everyone
How did you
doing?
spend your journal party hiatus?
Hopefully doing a little journaling.
Yeah. Did we gosh, when was the last time we were on? I mean, it was about a month ago. So like, how did everyone's Halloween go? We missed Halloween and stuff.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
usually I do like a podcast or something for that. Speaking of which, maybe I ought to do the podcast again. I'm showing up on someone else's podcast next week, so I'll have to drop a link for that once we get it. But that'll be fun, being a guest. All right.
Exciting.
Well, I put a little feeler out into the Facebook group just to see what everyone wanted to journal about. And the most people said fall. We had a couple winters in there, but I feel like it's not quite time for the winter sesh yet. And actually, someone went ahead and posted several prompts that were pretty good. So speaking of which, I've been, even though we've been on a hiatus, I've been still working very hard on some fun journal party stuff. And I got some things in the works pretty soon. You may be able to enter your own prompts into our journal party platform. So if that would be interesting for people, that's something that may or may not be in development. I don't know. I don't know. Just my little teaser. All right. Tina's been writing.
Good.
Nice. Deidre says it was 10:15:25. I use my Wednesday evenings for writing and reading.
10:15. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so happy to be back. Hope everyone is taking care of themselves. It is sick season. I'm a little stuffed up myself, but on the mend.
Alex had COVID last week. That was yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I mean, like, thank goodness we're out of the really terrifying part of all that.
Mhm.
But you feeling a little bit better? You feeling like
hanging in
down
there.
to journal this evening? Good.
Absolutely.
All right, we got another Tina in the house.
Love it.
Looking forward to more podcasts. Super excited about autumn-inspired prompts. Been doing a lot of autumn stuff from my promos. Yeah, I've seen that. Mary's been tagging us in some journaling-related posts. Always appreciate that.
Autumn is the best.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, I guess we should say something about the program that we've got going on this evening. Let me pull it up here on our screen. So this evening we will be falling into reflection. Thought that was kind of clever. I don't know. Anyway, journaling about seasons, I feel like, is always interesting, right? Because one of the most common reasons I go to my journal is to navigate change. And I would say fall, autumn, is perhaps the changiest of all the seasons. Wouldn't you say, Alex? You know, the leaves are changing, and you know, the air starts to feel different, and you know, like aside from like the physical representations of change, I think that you know, it's pretty common that we, you know, not only are we taking harvest of, you know, all the things that we've been doing all year, but you know, it's a good time to, like, as the leaves fall, for us to kind of let go of our own leaves, as they, you know, there's definitely some things on our own individual trees, you know, mental, physical, whatever, that, you know, we could probably let go of, and that would be a healthy thing, right? You know, it's not a bad thing that the trees lose their leaves. It's so, you know, they can go through another cycle, and, you know, they get another rung on the little tree rings or whatever. I always thought that was cool, how you could count the age of a tree by looking at the rings. Anyway, I digress. So I think you know, we've been going through a lot on our end, if you guys have been keeping up with us. And I'm sure, you know, one of the things that I've noticed in our own individual season of change here, and having to, you know, cope with that, is you know, as much as it's easy to just kind of like get caught up in my own thing, I've realized, like, oh, everyone's kind of going through it. Everyone's got their own things that they got going on. You got to process that, and, you know, journaling is a really awesome way to do that. And so we're going to keep the 5 prompt format that we did the last time. So we're going to give us 4 minutes per prompt for a nice 20-minute session together. And research indicates that that's about the sweet spot for self-reflection. Not to say that you can't go for longer, but, you know, that's where I think, you know, you start to kind of get into the good stuff, get into, you know, get away from like all the surface level stuff and start to tap into some goodness maybe hidden under the surface. And so I'm looking forward to getting into it. I've managed to keep my writing and my journaling habit up, so I'm not exactly out of practice, but you know, I personally have a tendency to, you know, be very like productivity focused with my journal. I journal in the morning about what I'm going to do that day and what I want to accomplish, my goals, and, you know, gratitude and all that stuff. And you know, I think I could do a little bit more like actual reflecting, and so that's what I'm really looking forward to this evening, is kind of taking stock of what's gone on in the year. And hey, we have a whole quarter left, right? So well, almost a whole quarter. Not really. We have like a month. Man, time flies. But you know, can't get too attached to it. You let it go, and I think that'll do us all some good. So let me know in the chat if anyone here is new, and you know, I think I can kind of give you the rundown now. But basically, it's pretty simple. We got 5 prompts for you this evening. Like I said, we're going to do 4 minutes per prompt. Alex and I will take turns reading the prompt, and we'll journal along with you. And then at the very end, we can all hang out and share our musings, share our insights, and just hang. It's that's like, I mean, aside from the journaling part, I've been really looking forward to just reconnecting with everybody. I see we got some familiar folks in here. We got Surrey Cat's in the house. Catherine's here. Awesome. Yeah, good to see everybody. You got Donna D in here. That's a cool name. Yeah. I hope I said that correctly, but yeah, that's
what I think it would sound like. Yeah. Please correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, awesome. Well, all right. I think it's about time we get this party started. So I'm gonna drag our little head circles to the side here, make Alex, you know, girl Alex featured a little bit. I always like to make your circle like a little bit bigger than mine. Just I don't know.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. I got a big enough head already, so. All right, Lutra's in the house. Lutra? I always forget. I feel like it was Lutra. I don't. Gosh. All right. Who's ready to journal? I think it's time. All right, so let's get this party started. Alex, I'm gonna do the odds this evening, and I hope that's all right with you. And let's get this party started.
Awesome.
Counting down.
Yeah.
All right, first prompt of the evening. What in your life feels ready to fall away, like leaves from a tree? What might letting go of this make room for?
Harvesting lessons. Think back over the past year. What experiences or challenges taught you something valuable? What wisdom are you carrying forward?
Cozy comfort. Autumn invites us to turn inward. What does comfort look like for you right now? How can you create more of it in your daily life?
Nature's palette. Describe autumn through your senses. What do you see, smell, hear, taste, and feel during this season? Which of these sensations brings you the most peace?
Winter preparation. See, I snuck a winter prompt in there. As the year winds down, what do you want to gather or accomplish before the new year arrives? What feels important to finish or begin?
Did it! I can't hear you, Alex.
Mute button. There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
A month of not doing this, a little bit of rust. Thanks for helping me shake that off, my love. That felt good. That's what I was saying. That felt really nice. And I enjoyed that. Let me know in the chat how everyone did with those prompts. And Alex, how'd you do?
Yeah, I enjoyed the prompts. It also kind of tapped into like around the holiday season. I know we're not quite there yet, but soon enough. I do tend to get a little overwhelmed, and it's just one of those times of the year where there's a lot of pressure, just a lot going on, and a lot of things to figure out. So on the one hand, it was nice to kind of, put in order the things that I need to get done, and that, the things I would like to kind of start anew with in the new year. But yeah, so it was kind of like an up and down. I was like, getting really excited, and then, I think also talking about all the different senses and all the amazing things that make this season wonderful definitely helped kind of perk me back up. But I'll be honest, I went all over the place with this one. But I have to say I'm ready for the new year, and there's especially, most people don't know that we have some house things going on and some house troubles that have really been plaguing us, and now there's drama with our neighbor, and we're just so desperate to be done with it. And I think that's my biggest thing is, this is life. We have to take it one day at a time. And, I'd like to let go of some of that anger and that angst and that pressure, we put upon ourselves to get things done. So, yeah, but other than that, I also, a big takeaway was, it was the second question, and just kind of what are some things that you're taking away this year? And for me, it was really just an appreciation for love, and dealing with our dog and his cancer diagnosis. It's also, it's also made me so grateful and so present and so full of love. And it's just, I've never been this consumed with love before, and it's a beautiful thing. So again, it was kind of an up and down roller coaster for me, but yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty similar experience. I mean, there's no, well, as far as like what I'm wanting to let go of, I feel like I'm ready to let go of just struggle, but more specifically, hurry and worry that comes with it. And I think I've like made my whole life a practice of turning everything into something urgent. And I was just exploring that a little bit, which, I like. Part of my whole identity that I've cultivated for myself is just wanting to feel like I'm having an impact and doing something important. And I think that like one of like the clever little tricks that my mind has come up with in order for me to like scratch that itch is just to kind of make everything like urgent, so that I like as if I like really like struggle or strive and like all this all this like really intense emotion around these things that just need to happen, but maybe they're not necessarily so urgent. But like that's a way that I think that I've been able to like kind of tell myself that like I'm not lazy or whatever it is. And like I've become aware of that, and I've been working on that this year. And I'm not perfect. Like there's still times where I totally like spin out and go nuts on whatever my tasks are, and everything can sometimes feel intense. But when I have been able to kind of take things a little bit more easy and adopt a little bit more of like a relaxed posture, I've noticed that the results are just as good, if not better, than when I'm like going nuts and freaking out about it. So I'm totally ready to like let go of this, like everything, it's like, nah, like,
Good, yeah.
And so that was a big one. And then, like you were saying, there's, with like the lessons, like a lot of stuff comes up, and like some of it like doesn't feel so great, and some of it feels really great. And like I mean, there's this kind of like tender tension that I noticed in exploring just a lot of the things that have come up this year. And yeah, like I think what makes it easy to get through is finding the love in the situation. Fortunately, you're an amazing partner, and have kind of kept me grounded and anchored during some of the more difficult things. And then, on the flip side, when stuff goes really well, it's super awesome to be able to share those things. Like I was thinking about like how fall is like probably like my favorite season. And it's not because, I see the leaves change, because I've never lived in a place where the leaves have changed colors or anything like that. But, there's like a certain there's like a certain quality to the air, and I feel like it's more like when I was like really digging into it, is for me it's more of like a feeling state where things are just kind of slowing down, and you can really feel that, like the tenderness and that tension between, like, you know, what is like, you know, difficult or intense versus like what is like really comforting and really relaxing. And then just pulling on that thread a little bit more, I think that it's you know, I love how things seem to slow down a little bit, and that kind of creates some space for you to actually enjoy or just even just experience things. Like, it doesn't even have to be something that you're necessarily enjoying. Like, even the difficult moments, like being able to share those with people, like there's a certain like bittersweetness to that, and you know, that's been really present, and it's not something that I would necessarily wish away. You know, obviously, you know, you want certain things to go a certain way or whatever, but like, you know, I think, you know, shedding the attachment to those things is another thing that I think, you know, is something I could maybe let go of. And yeah, lots of interesting stuff was coming up, and you know, the thing that I want to get done before I mean, as far as my winter prep, I've been working so hard on building you guys some really cool stuff for Journal Party. I know I tease it a lot, and it's not easy, but it's easier than it's ever been for me to create really cool stuff for everybody. And so I'm just so excited about it. But it's like everything that's been coming up. It's like, you know, one of the things I was writing about was like how, you know, you make so many plans and then just things happen, right? There's like that classic trope, like what is it, man plans and God laughs, and it's true. It's like, you know, you have all these plans and then life shows up, and whatever happens. But you know, even kind of focusing on that a little bit more, it's like, well, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to plan. Like another thing that I found in the lessons there is like, well, I've also gotten pretty good this year at like scheduling me time and like really carving out time on my calendar to like, you know, go to a concert that I want to go to, or like, you know, just spend some time doing nothing or reading or something like that. And so, you know, as much as like, yeah, you have to be kind of ready for whatever shows up, there is still value in the planning. So even though, you know, you can kind of be cynical with that statement that I made earlier, I think that, you know, it's the awareness of it, I think, can kind of help. It helps me navigate those sorts of things. So as I'm talking here, I'm seeing all sorts of goodies popping up in the chat. Surrey Cat said, great prompts that got me thinking of what I want to accomplish now rather than focusing on the new year. Yeah, well, it's always good to be here now and be present, and you know, then the new year will show up before you know it, and you know,
I need that reminder to be more mindful and stay present, because, you know, yes, the new year is around the corner, but I should, you know, enjoy this moment here and now. So thank you for that reminder, Surrey Cat.
Yeah, always a good reminder. Deidre says, this was a good way to start reflecting on current life, sprinkled with the cozy feels of autumn. Yeah, we didn't talk much about like the comfort prompt or whatever, but fall is like my comfort season for sure. And on that note, I was thinking like, what makes it easy for me to get comfortable is like eliminating clutter. And I know that you're working on that too. So I was just thinking like, I gotta do better about like taking care of my immediate surroundings, because I was just thinking about like, when are the times when I felt like really, really comfortable, like really able to like kick back. And it's like, it's never when I'm in a room that's full of stuff or there's stuff on me, you know, like it's like, when there's like, it's like clean, open space and, you know, well manicured. So I need to work on that a little bit. I get so in it. Surrey Cat said, it's too easy to focus on the new year instead of focusing on the life we have now. Yeah, I mean,
very true.
That's life, right? It's funny. Every time I say Surrey Cat, my iPad over here lights up, thinking that I'm trying to call Siri.
So funny. Yeah.
Deidre says, I realize I'm no longer in a rush to move on to the next things. I savor all the moments and make a list for the rest of it. Yeah, that's such a good insight. You know, that's one of the best parts about journaling is you can get it out on paper and then you can deal with it later. I mean, I think one of the things that I notice a lot of us journalers have in common is that we're overthinkers, and there's a lot of mental clutter that goes on. That's one of the main reasons I journal, because I get so overwhelmed with all that stuff going on. And it's not important stuff, right? But if you write it down, it's there and you can always pick it up. And yeah, being able to just kind of sit and, you know, focus, or, you know, not even through like a productivity lens, just being able to experience what's actually happening, as opposed to like being up in your head where you're, you know, playing back something from the past or imagining, you know, what you want in the future. Like the now's where it all happens. And I've seen a few comments about that. Suri says, being my iPad.
My phone is doing it too now.
Being retired at a young age, I still find myself forcing myself to be productive. It's been a challenge to relax and just breathe. And yeah, I had a sticker around here that I need to find and put it somewhere visible, and it just says "Rest is productive." And I need to hear that and be reminded of that constantly, because, you know, like I said, I make my whole identity about getting stuff done and you know, being impactful. And it's like, well, how impactful can you be when you're burnt out? And I'm, you know, guilty as charged of all that. But yeah, really great reminders everyone's coming up with this evening.
Definitely.
Tina says, can't control everything. Absolutely not. Oh my goodness, am I butting up into that one? Yeah, I mean, that's another classic struggle of mine. But, you know, most people, you know, there's, if you ever, I talk about it now and then. There's like a particular philosophy that I think is interesting, or method, right? So it's called the Sedona method, and a guy named Lester Levinson was the originator of it. Pretty interesting stuff. But my point is, you know, you can kind of boil everything down into a couple of buckets. Like everything that we're like, so that like really kind of makes us have a bad time and bothers us, can usually be pointed back to like either wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to feel safe. And, you know, control is a big one for me. Like I feel pretty safe. Not really worried what people think about me at this age. You know, like I'm doing all right with those two, but like the control, like I just want to control everything. And it's so hard. And the, you know, like the irony is like, is if you can just get enough control to let that go, like that's where, you know, true freedom and magic starts to happen. But yeah, Tina, I feel that one for sure. You're not too much of a control freak, Alex. I feel like you're pretty carefree. Yeah.
I haven't always been this way. It took many years of therapy, but I have to say I definitely have let go. And you've been doing a great job. You know,
thank you.
Working on that. You really have. You know, I have to force it sometimes, but
you try to control it. Yeah, I got you.
That's where I do control things, when I'm trying to control you, trying to control things. So
yeah, you know how much I love that.
Yeah.
Letra says, the Nature's Palette prompts opened a few senses for me. Relaxing. Yeah, what senses came up for you, Alex?
In terms of the autumn senses that I like?
Yeah. Like what about fall do you lean into sense-wise?
Oh, definitely the smells. Of course, I love anything pumpkin, freshly baked cookies, pine needles, wood burning. Ooh. Not that we get too much of that in LA, but I definitely, you know, I love those things. Yeah. And soup. I'm really getting... I'm getting into, I had like an excellent lentil soup the other day, and I'm going to have soup tonight. And
I saw that you had a little special soup in the fridge. I saw that in there.
I know. And I got really excited because I'm finding.
Is it soup season? I'll get into soups with you. Let's make some soup. You know what soup I really love is that Weight Watchers 0 Point soup. I'm not an affiliate. This isn't like an ad or something.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but like if anyone knows about the Weight Watchers, they do points or whatever. And my mom got me into it when we were kids.
My mom
like, what is this soup? It is so
delicious.
good. And it's like, I guess, 0 points. Like it doesn't make you, gain weight and stuff like that. But
And my mom would blend it and yours wouldn't. So I grew up with the
yeah,
blended 0 point soup.
that's an interesting, chat, let us know if you prefer like blended puree style soups over brothy soups. I'm a broth guy. I like my soup to be brothy with like chunks of stuff. Alex, you like more of a puree kind of soup?
Yeah, I just that's how I grew up, but I can enjoy both. I'm open to all.
You're all right. Okay, you're a soup agnostic. That's cool. Is that the right use of that word? Maybe not. I don't know.
Close enough. I know what you're saying.
Close enough. Yeah. Sorry. There goes. No. All right. Wish I had this awareness when I was 20 years younger. Yeah. Well, I think, on the flip side, right? Like wisdom only really comes with age and experience. I mean, you can try really hard to seek it, but I feel like that's one of those things that, well, I guess you have to be willing for it to show up, but maybe not. I don't know. Let us know in your wisdom there. But I feel like, it's like we can go back and so many of our frustrations can just come from us just not being here now, right? And to go back in time and wish things were different or whatever. I know you're being somewhat facetious and silly here, but yeah, it's like, the good stuff is happening here and now. I guess, you can savor things and remember like, sweet times from the past and, hope for good things in the future. But I feel like, to be able to be present and actually experience things is like really where like joy comes up. And at least that's been my experience. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, right? We're all having our own experience and there's like a common thread under that. And I think it's so cool that like the human experience, there's like so much in common, but at the same time, we're all so different. We're all walking different walks and, different things show up. And I have a feeling like this is just my belief. I think that the right things show up for you at the right time. Like I really think that, if you allow some sense of, I would say it's divine timing, but it doesn't even have to be like a spiritual thing. I think if you can just allow things to be what they are, it's like, that's one of my hardest things is like just allowing things to be all right. Like I always have to like, have things be a certain way. It's like, no, like, who am I to like decide what my experience needs to be when like this world is so big and just wild and crazy. And, I think if you can kind of let go of some of the like the attachment to, how things need to be, it's like, that's when that wisdom maybe shows up. Right. So I don't know. Tina says, I need to say goodnight. Long day here on the chilly East Coast. Yeah, I can't believe it's getting cold in places. It's like, it was a little cold today.
It's
like
cold
50 degrees.
in LA right now. For us, it's cold.
Yeah, 50 degrees. It's cold. Well, Tina, thanks for journaling with us this evening. And have a wonderful evening. Bernita says, clean space equals clean mind for me. Yeah, so much I feel like it's like, is the external producing the internal or vice versa? Or I feel like it's just, I don't know. I do notice though that when I clean up, like my circumstances get better. And usually I think, at least for me, like it's usually like internal affecting the external. Like I need to be in a good space to be able to clean up. Like that's the hardest thing. Like it's like when stuff gets out of control, like clutter wise, it's like it's usually because I got something internal going on, and the last thing I want to do is clean up that clutter. So maybe it's just some self-discipline that I need. But yeah. Or I see Alex going nuts cleaning around the house. And I'm like, oh, I'm lazy. She's going to be mad at me. I got we just Windex this real quick.
Yeah.
Linda said, I agree, Alex, with complete nighttime at 6 p.m. It just seems slower and want to be quieter and slower to ruminate on life. It feels easier for me to be more present. Yeah, I wonder if that's like has anything to do with the astrological thing of it, right? Because like seasons are caused by the tilt of the earth, right? I always thought it was like how far it was away from the sun, but it's actually the tilt of the earth. But there's all sorts of like I don't know. For me, like fall, I get like the whole pumpkin spice latte, the smells and seeing the leaves change. But for me, it's like a different feeling. And I was thinking, like, is it the air? Yeah, the air is a little crisper, but there's like a different weight to everything for me. Like I feel simultaneously lighter and heavier at the same time, and it's this weird thing, but like, yeah, I think there's this that other effect where, yeah, stuff just kind of feels like it slows down a little bit, and yeah, it's more of a feeling thing for me than a sensual thing. Although I guess feeling is a sense, so maybe I don't know.
I agree with the quieter thing too. There's something about this time of year where it's just I want to kind of be alone with my thoughts sometimes, and not not too many big distractions, and believe it or not,
it's easier to not get overstimulated. But on the flip side, I get extra annoyed when when I do get the overstimulation. So we're working on it, Catherine says the prompt about what would open up if I let go of some things was really inspiring. The things that I am holding on to, not only are they heavy, but they do take up a lot of room. And the things that I could replace it with could be wonderful. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like if you create the space for new stuff to show up, it could surprise you. I'm hesitant to say the name. Beep cat. I don't want to summon our little assistant here. Even pro athletes take rest days. Yes. And it seems like all of my fantasy team is taking rest days on the worst days. Not doing good in fantasy football this year, but I don't know. I don't think we've got too many fantasy footballers in the chat. Let me know. How's your team doing? But yes, they take rest. It's their job. They gotta stay healthy. Gotta be good. Mary says, I am giving up holiday rushing. I want to be in the present moment and sleep through the night. I'm giving up racing thoughts at night to embrace being happy in the present. I love that. What a clean affirmation.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I agree. Slow down with the holiday rushing. I think that's the other thing. Again, there's just this like pressure to do so much and produce so much, and it gets a little overwhelming. So I love this being present and slowing down a little bit.
Do you kind of get the sense that people are kind of breaking out of that spell a little bit?
I hope so. I especially, like families and stuff, like there's just so much pressure, especially with young children, to produce, like I said, this like, incredible, holiday, and there's so much more to it. And
and it's challenging now. Like these are tough times for most people, and it's just like I feel like on one hand it's tough because you want to be able to to provide, and you want your your money to go far, and you want to take care of you and yours, but at the same time it's like, well, when you have to start to like prioritize things and think about things a little bit more, it's like, well, immediately like the most important stuff becomes pretty apparent. And like I feel like some of this like crazy like consumerism like kind of, it's like the first to go, because it's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like gross. It's like, I mean, what's real is like, you and spending quality time. And like, I think, it's like, it's unfortunate that, that it can maybe feel a little bit harder in terms of like provision. But I think like the flip side of that is just like, well, I'm happy that it's easier to see like what really, really matters. And it's really awesome in a season like fall to be able to actually like pay attention and lean into that a little bit, give it a little bit more time. All right. Our Surrey cat I did it again. One of my favorite movie lines: "Control is an illusion, you infantile egomaniac." Days of Thunder. I'm writing that down.
That's great.
Gotta give that one a watch. All right, got some people cheering each other on. We need that Weight Watcher soup recipe. Yeah, post that in the chat.
For sure. It's delicious.
And then let us know if you like the pureed version or the broth version. Surrey Cat, broth, purees remind me of baby food. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Surrey Cat is my people.
Yeah.
She knows. She gets it. You know, like I can, you know what? I'm okay with like the butternut squash one. That's like hard to do.
Yeah, you
It's
have
like
to have that pureed. Yeah.
And, you know, maybe like tomato soup. I don't know, though. That's borderline for me.
Yeah.
No, change name here. Mary says, agree. I like the savory chunks in broth. Yes. I am most definitely wiser from just life in general. Living and learning reminds us we are alive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. All right, Linda's going to bed. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Mary says, pick your favorite song, clean for the duration of the song. If you're vibing, you can have another song ready to go, or you can be done knowing you were productive. Hey, that is good advice. And you know what? Like, on that note, Alex, like, for two people who love music as much as we do not have music going on in the house, like, ever. And, like, whenever we do, it's a vibe, and I like it, and it feels way more like home. So, like, I don't know. Thanks for that reminder, Mary. That's totally something we gotta be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Deidre says, I have 2 fantasy football teams, 2nd and 3rd place. Yeah, I just got into 7th place, and we have penalties if you get into last place in our league, and they're really bad penalties. This year is not as bad.
They're not that horrible. I've heard some awful penalties.
Well, at least so in years past we've had to you had to eat like a bunch of McDonald's, and it's like really unhealthy and gross. The loser gets to pick the next year's punishment though, and so this year they picked the loser of the league, the last place person, has to do an open mic stand up, and you can't mention that you lost anything. Like, you can't make it like about that. Like, you actually have to like do a solid attempt at stand up comedy for 5 minutes at an open mic here in Los Angeles. Which, you know what? I'm way happier to do something like that than to like have to eat like a ton of McDonald's. I can't. I'm not healthy enough. Well, let's not affirm that. I don't want to be that unhealthy. There you go. But yeah, well, I hope you win your league, Deidre, and
absolutely
pray for mine. Lecture says, need to tap out. Good night, all. Yeah, well, and with that, we're coming up to the hour. We got through all of the comments here, and so just want to say thank you so much for coming back and journaling with us again. I mean, I didn't know if anyone was going to show up. You never know. Like, things fall by the wayside. And you know what? This was exactly what I wanted it to be. I was really looking forward just to hanging out and seeing some familiar faces and, vibing with the Journal Party family. Like, someone else, I forget who said that, but it really does feel like kind of coming home to family here. And so I'm really grateful that this space exists. It's awesome to create something and then have it be, received and have people participate in that. But like, even beyond that, like, I get something out of this, and it's something that I didn't really know that I was going to get out of it when I set out on this adventure. And so it's been an awesome journey. And as you've known or witnessed, like, on our end, like, I'm no guru. We have our ups and downs, and like, we're real human beings. But what my favorite thing is just that we're real human beings who come together, and it's a cozy corner of the internet. And I think the world is starved for this sort of thing. So I'm really proud of all of us, and just want to say thank you all for making this what it is, because every time it's over, Alex and I, how'd that go? Like, that was so fun. Like, oh, we feel so much better. And it's like, whatever head garbage I brought into it is usually shaken out, and it's such a nice middle of the week thing. So apologies for us, having to kind of take a little hiatus, and thank you, for the grace and letting us have a little bit of space to kind of deal with what we needed to deal with. But you know what? It's always good to come back to center, and always good to spend some good time with the party people. So, Alex, is there anything you wanted to say before we sign her off here?
Well, I don't think so. You summed it up. Just take care, everyone. Stay warm and cozy. And I'm just happy to be back.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, we plan on getting back on schedule. So unless you see an announcement, assume that we're going to be doing this on Wednesdays. Probably not going to be resuming the Saturday sessions until I finish some of the projects that I've been working on for Journal Party. But Wednesdays, Journal Party Live, the original session, we're going to be doing it. So thanks for showing up tonight. Spread the word. And until next time, as always, party on.